what are your actual goals of the show? And believe me, they may not be just to sell items. So let's get into that. What is up, everybody? Welcome back. If you're new to the channel, my name is Brett, and this is my laser garage where I run and operate a full-time laser engraving business with my wife. She's full-time, I'm part-time, but we're doing it all here in our house. You know, today I want to talk about something a little bit different than I normally talk about on the channel, and that topic is craft shows. Now, I've only done one craft show in my life, period. And it was about, it was 2 years ago now when I did it. And it was at my church, and my wife and I thought, hey, you know, let's go do this. There's not a lot of tents or booths there. There's a good opportunity for us to sell some products. And man, we worked our buns off. I mean, I'll try to show some pictures up here of what my garage looked like back then. But, you know, I made so many products. I was just kind of throwing darts at the wall and hoping something would stick. And I spent probably like 2 or 3 weeks, like constantly getting ready for this. I had dozens and dozens of items, signs, you know, you name it, like all sorts of different things, little trinkets, whatnot. I mean, it was like everything. And, you know, it went really well. I mean, it was a good experience. It was fun. It was a ton of work, but it was overall a good experience. But I'll tell you what, like, I came back the next day afterwards, and I had a lot of the items that we worked so hard to make and to bring to the show and have to bring back. I brought so many of them back home with me, and we just didn't sell them. And that's kind of one of the hard things with craft shows. And look, I'm no expert. I've only done one of them, but I want to talk today about something that probably not many other people are talking to. At least I haven't seen many people talk to on about craft shows. And it's kind of about what are your actual goals of the show. And believe me, they may not be just to sell items. So let's get into that. So we did it again. We took the plunge, and we're doing another craft show this summer. And guess what? It's at the same event that we went to 2 years ago at my church. You know, as I kind of already talked about, most people go into craft shows and their goal is to make sales. But this year, our goal is to build relationships. At this show that I signed up for, I'm going to be meeting all sorts of people in my community. These are people I see at the store. We go to the same school. Our kids go to the same school. We go to the same church. We may not do any of those things together, but they may be at this event who live in my local area. I want to meet people face to face, show them what we do, and hopefully in the future be the first person that they think of when they need custom items like tumblers, glassware, my wine crates, our trophy stuff that we do, or any of our other promotional items that we sell. So what am I going to sell though? Because I need to have something. I can't just go there trying to talk to people and have a few items out on my booth or whatnot. You know, I got to have some products, right? So I'm over here at my Bolt Pro 32, and I've just been making some prototypes at this point. The show is about in 4 weeks. I got about a month left to prepare for this. So I'm coming up with a product line of 5 or 6 items that are going to be low cost. They're going to be pocket change, basically. You know, $5, $10, no more than $20. I might not even hit that $20 mark either. I mean, I want these items to be inexpensive and things that people probably might have cash for on hand. So looking at Lightburn here, you can see my file, and you know, at this point I'm just kind of prototyping, and you can watch the laser run here. Basically how I've set this up is I just scored a rectangle the size of my piece here, which is 4 inches by 14 inches, and that's on my piece of plywood that I have down on my work bed. And I'm doing a variety of these types of these signs here that I'm making, basically, and they all have different designs, but they're all the same dimensions, 4 by 14. So as I go through these different designs, all I'm going to do is just place them onto my square that I have engraved onto my plywood, and that way I can line up everything using absolute coordinates in Lightburn, because you can see I have a couple more designs over here on the side. I'm just going to drag and drop those onto my space here, and that way I'll make sure everything is aligned. This isn't the way I always line up everything, but when I'm trying to do something quick, down and dirty like this, I find it's very easy. You know, if I was doing a full production scale of these items, you know, I would probably cut out like a template out of 1/8 inch MDF or something like that with the 4x14 squares, and I could fit, you know, probably, let's see, 2, 4, at least 6 in the Bolt Pro 32. Probably more if I rearranged them differently, because I have a 20 by 32 inch workbed on that machine. So I could fit quite a lot of product, but this isn't something that, or any of these products I have on my screen here, they're not something that we normally sell. These aren't, you know, our normal product line. I mean, but, you know, the key for this craft fair is to target the people that are going to be at the event. And I mean, it's basically just like, you know, it's at my church, so I know what a lot of the people at my church like, and I just want to make cool stuff for them. So this is stuff I like as well. So I know that if I can come up with 3 or 4 or 5, maybe 6 different product lines like what I'm doing here, that people at this event are going to like it. So that's one of the pieces of advice I want to give to anyone out there thinking about doing a craft show, is know your audience. You know your target audience. I'm going to an event at my church, so I know that I'm going to have religious items at my church, and they're going to do well. Probably. I mean, you never know, right? But, you know, if I was going somewhere else out in my town, you know, this wouldn't be a good item, I don't think, to have out there, you know. But you have to look at where you are setting up, what your demographics are, what, you know, the whole scene of the event is, and kind of, you know, have stuff that align as best as you can. So as you can see, since these items are going to be inexpensive, I'm not going to be charging what I normally would charge for something like this on Etsy or even out on my website or anywhere else. You know, I have to make sure I'm not losing a bunch of money, right? So one thing that I'm doing is I'm using scrap material. Everything that I'm using for these products are going to be materials that I have on hand. I'm really not buying anything. I'm going to maybe buy a few hooks for this project here that I may show you later if I can get one finished all the way. But you know, very minimal expenses are what I'm going to be looking at here, because, you know, this is I'm probably going to sell this for $20. I've made these before in the past, very small runs for people, and I've sold them for $50 before. So, you know, I'm putting stuff on sale, basically, a really, really good sale, again, to get people checking out what I have in the booth, because it's not just going to be these items that I'm selling. I'm going to have other items on display that I'm trying to plant seeds for later on in the year, if people, you know, think that they need that, because, you know, there's going to be lots of different people at this event. And it's going to be the same thing at any event, right? You're going to have, you know, just people in the community, of course. You're going to have business owners, CEOs, people in their community that are in charge of purchasing items. So if you're trying to sell to businesses, you know, it's all about making contacts. And, you know, people all the time ask me in the comments, like, hey, like, how do you get your business? And the biggest way that I get business nowadays is simply by talking to people. And that might sound crazy, but a few years ago, I was not very comfortable about talking about what we actually do here. What I do, what me and my wife do. I just kind of kept it to myself. I would post stuff on Instagram or whatever, but like just to people out in the country or the world for that matter. But I wasn't talking to the people that I hang out with. I wasn't talking to the people that I live with day to day. And once I realized that, like, it's okay to talk about what you do, because I felt like it was maybe like, I don't know, like bragging, or like people, maybe not bragging, but like people just didn't want to hear it. Like they don't care. Like, but that's not true. I mean, I don't know why I was thinking that. That's not a correct way to think. Like, people do care, especially people that you're friends with and people that you're close with, or, you know, somewhat close with. Like, they do care. And you don't have to go on and on and on like I'm doing in this video right now, but just simply mentioning, like if someone says, hey, what are you up to? Oh, well, as you know, I've got my laser business, and I've just been really working hard, creating a bunch of new products. Like, here, check this out on my phone. Like, here, this is what I'm working on. I'm doing these new tumblers, or hey, I got this new laser. I could do glass now. So like, check out all these glassware items I can make. And once I started doing that, it wasn't the first time I did it. It wasn't the 100th time I did it, but at some point, you plant these seeds in people around you that you know in your circle, and they may be at work one day, or they may be talking to someone else, and that other person might bring up, yeah, I've got this, I've got this business, and I just can't find someone to do these custom glasses for me. I'm going online, and like, people are ripping me off, and I don't really know what I'm going to get because I can't talk to anybody when I'm buying something online. And then the friend that they're talking to says, hey, I know this guy, Brett. Like, he has this business and he can do that. You should give him a call. And that is literally how I've gotten so much business this past year and a half or so, which has just really launched everything that we're doing here. So again, just talk to people about what you do. And it's not going to happen overnight, but eventually it's going to come up. So, and you're going to, be ready for those times that someone calls you or emails you, and, you can go ahead and talk to them from there. So this is looking really good. Quick engraving. I mean, this is, I don't know what wood this is, but I had it just laying around in my shed, and I've got a bunch of it. So I just kind of milled it down real quick, and sanded it, and made it ready for engraving. And if I take it off my workpiece here, you can see that engraving score mark that I did on my piece of plywood here, just to be able to line up these quickly, because alignment on this isn't super critical. I mean, if it's people would never know, like if this was an 1/8 of an, or 1/16 or an 1/8 of an inch off, as long as it looks to the eye being centered, which of course it does here, then you're in good shape. So you can also see down here, here's another tip. This is where the hooks are going to go. And what I do is I do an engraving on those hooks as well. And I do kind of slow, higher power engraving. And it actually drills a small hole basically in there. And that way, when I go to put my hooks on my product here in the future, I know that they're all perfectly aligned. I don't need to measure anything, and I am good to go. So here as well, you can see a bunch of the other products that I'm making for this event. And these two signs here are, there's going to be hooks in here, like I said, and those are actually going to hold rosaries, or they can hold keys or anything like that, but they're just going to hang on someone's walls for decoration and as a holder as well. And you can see here I have some photo images. So I've been working really hard on, my skills on engraving photographs, and the Bolt Pro 32 just, man, it does such a good job. Like, I can't speak highly enough of the RF laser tubes in these things. I mean, you just get so much detail. Like, it's crazy how good you can get photos with these machines. So I can't say enough good things about that. So again, I'm no expert at craft shows. I've only done one of them, and I'm working on number 2 here. And I don't expect to do a lot of craft shows. That's not our thing here. For some people, it is their thing, and they do really well at it. I know they can give a lot of different or a lot of different tips than what I'm giving now, but I just want to bring people into kind of my thought process and our thought process here, like what we're trying to go after, just in case that might help you, because the way to measure success at these shows sometimes is not just about how much money you're pulling in from the event. My ultimate goal is to break even on what I've spent to enter the event, and kind of what I'm going to be spending on some of these low-priced materials and stuff that I'm putting together. But I'm not trying to get money for my time. Like, I'm going to be there for 2 days. So the first day is only like 6 hours, and then the second day is like 10 hours. It's a Friday and Saturday event. So I'm going to be putting in a lot of time, and I'm not expecting to get that back, but I'm expecting to, again, plant some seeds and to hopefully get some more business contacts in the future, because even the first craft fair that I did, we were trying to make money on that event, and we did pretty good, I think. I mean, I think we made about $500 from the event itself. Although we do have a lot of stock of inventory left over still and we've sold a little bit of it here and there, but I have a lot left still. But not only did we sell items at the actual event, we still made contacts at that event, and we sold additional items afterwards. We had some people come up to us asking us to make a sign for their business. So I used the CNC to make that sign. We sold other custom things that people were asking for at the event. So we had 10 or 12 additional customers after the event. So I'm really looking to supercharge that from this event by making that my goal and to really focus on that. Because let's face it, building these connections are, again, really what help drive sales for businesses like what we're running here and what you may be running at home. A lot of people can get things cheap on Amazon or other sources, right? They can have things delivered to their door in just a couple days, 1 or 2 days. But what they can't really get is personal service for customized items. Like, that's what we do as laser engraving businesses. We're able to fully customize or create things that people either envision in their mind or they haven't yet thought of, and bring those to life. And people really like that and respect that. And honestly, like, people sometimes just want to buy things from other people, that they know, and people aren't going to know you unless you get out there and talk to them. I know this from my day job. There's a reason, I'm in construction, and there's a reason that material yards, they have salespeople that go out and they get to know their clients. They get to know the construction companies that they're selling to, what they like. They go play golf. They, go to lunch, go to dinner. They hang out. Like, I know this firsthand, and it allows them to build a relationship to get to know what you actually need as a customer, so they can better provide that service to you or that material, that item to you. And that's the same thing that we have to do too. And there's only one way to do that, and that is to get out there and talk to people. So don't be afraid to go to these craft shows with this kind of different approach or goal in mind, because it may be something that you need to help jumpstart your personal business. So what do I hope to get out of this event? I'm not expecting a huge sales day. I mean, if it happens, it happens. If I sell out of everything that I bring, that'll be a good thing, but I'm not expecting that. What I am expecting is a good day of connection. If I walk out of there with a few solid leads, maybe some more YouTube or Instagram followers, or even just conversations that may lead to work 6 months down the line, that's a huge win for me. So if you're thinking about doing a craft show in the future, and maybe you're a little concerned because it doesn't necessarily meet your current business model or style, maybe think about it from this angle. So let me know down in the comments if you've done a craft show before and how they worked out for you. If you have any other questions about anything, any of my bolt machines or Thunder products, or any of the lasers in my garage or CNCs, also leave that down in the comments below. I would love to hear from you, and I will definitely answer all of your comments. So hey, there you have it. Thanks a lot for stopping by the garage today. I really appreciate having you here. I hope you got something out of this video. This is something that I've been thinking about in my head for a long time. And, I just wanted to kind of get out there and do an informal, vlog style video about it, just as these thoughts were fresh in my head. And again, if you have any questions or comments, maybe you don't agree with what I'm doing, that's cool. Leave them in the comments below, because I would love to continue this conversation. This is definitely not the end of this whole topic. I mean, we can talk about this for so long. And, I just want to, put this out there just in case anyone else is kind of thinking this, or maybe might be in the same boat. And, in the future, what I'd like to do is next month after the show, I'm definitely going to post some updates about what happened and all the findings that I have from that. So I look forward to sharing that video with you too in the future. And again, if you have any more questions on the Bolt Pro 32 or any of the other Bolt machines or Thunder machines that I have here in the garage, make sure you check out this playlist that I'm going to be putting on the screen after this video is over. There's tons of information, unboxing, first impressions, cut testing, engraving testing, maintenance, cleaning, all sorts of good information, I think, on these machines. And hey, if you don't have a Thunder machine, that's okay too. I mean, there's tons of good brands out there. And these videos are not only going to help you with Thunder machines, but they're also going to help you with lasers in general. So make sure you go check them out. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.